Today, I have a really great topic for you. I'm really excited about this topic because this is one that is spoken about a lot here on Noon Vibe, but also all over the world. And that is the impact of gratitude in our lives and what it can actually do. Because oftentimes it appears that these somewhat placid or they sound kind of hippy-skippy or a little woo-woo sort of practices like practicing gratitude, they don't feel like they're going to be impactful enough. They really don't. It's like, yeah, really, gratitude, what's that going to do for me? Well, being a longtime practicer of gratitude and also following the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, I've come to know this on a much deeper level of why gratitude can have such a tremendous impact on not only our mood, our life, our personalities, but also on our physical body. So today I want to jump into how gratitude rewires our brain. So in preparation for this talk, I searched up the ideal meaning of what it means to have heart-brain coherence because I understand it, but I wanted to really get the words from Dr. Joe Dispenza, how he describes heart-brain coherence. So I'm going to start out explaining this to you guys so you really understand that, oh my gosh, there's something physiologically that is going on here when we're practicing gratitude. Are you kidding me? That's why I say this isn't hippy-dippy. This isn't fluffy. This isn't just woo-woo. This is really, truly about our brain. It's about our bodies. It's about our well-being and how having an amazing gratitude practice, or at least working towards an amazing gratitude practice, can really change your life. And I will tell you, in the times that I am really deeply immersed in gratitude, but life seems so much easier. Everything is so much better than when the times where I spiral out of it a little bit because something happens or a string of things happen at the same time. And then it's just too much, with life. And I just can't, or I forget, what have you, to be in my gratitude. Things just feel more pokey. They're a little bit harder to get through. My mood can be affected. But when I stay in that air of gratitude, things change. And it's really fascinating to watch this happen because also gratitude is one of the highest feelings that we can feel, emotions that we can feel. It has the highest frequency, energetic frequency to it. And knowing that everything is energy, this is indisputable. I didn't make this up. You can go research it yourself. Everything is energy. So the energy that we are generating inside of our bodies, we're actually emanating out from our heart 3 meters wide from our bodies. And that is what tends to attract things to us. So Dr. Joe Dispenza describes heart-brain coherence as a physiological and emotional state. So physiological, body, emotional, right? That's inside our emotions, where the heart and brain are synchronized. Heart-brain coherence is a physiological and emotional state where the heart and brain are synchronized. This creates an optimal internal environment for healing, clarity, and change. It creates an optimal internal environment for healing, clarity, and change. You have to forgive me. I have a slight sore throat today, so I'm just dealing with that right now. In Dr. Joe's teaching, he says that coherence happens, listen to this very closely, when elevated emotions such as gratitude, love, appreciation, or joy regulate the heart's rhythm, which then sends organized, harmonious signals to the brain. This coherence moves the body out of survival mode and into a state where the nervous system, immune system, and brain function more efficiently. I feel like I need to read that again because it's so important. Coherence happens when elevated emotions such as gratitude, love, appreciation, or joy regulate the heart's rhythm, which then sends organized, harmonious signals to the brain. The coherence moves the body out of survival mode and into a state where the nervous system, immune system, and brain function more efficiently. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that the heart is the gateway to coherence. Let's go back to the beginning, what I was talking about, that heart-brain coherence creates an optimal internal environment for God, I can't talk today. Healing, clarity, and change. And the heart is the gateway to coherence. So when the heart is coherent, the brain becomes more orderly. Can you guys tell that I'm smiling? I'm almost laughing my way through this because I love this. I love this stuff so much. The heart is the gateway to coherence, i.e., gratitude, love, appreciation, and joy is the gateway to coherence. So when the heart is coherent, the brain becomes more orderly. And when both are aligned, the body shifts from a stress chemistry, who can't relate to that, to growth and repair chemistry. So in other words, we're moving out of survival mode and into thriving mode. Isn't that amazing? Through practicing the feelings of gratitude, love, appreciation, and joy, we are actually moving out of survival mode and into thriving mode. So when the heart and brain are in coherence, the body is no longer living in the past or anticipating the future. It's present, it's regulated, and it's open to change. Isn't that amazing? Love, love, love his work. I could listen to him all day long. I'm actually part of one of his, it's something you have to sign up for and pay for, but he does once a month a live conversation, and people, you can submit your questions, and then sometimes he reads your question out loud. He did read mine out loud one time, or actually I read mine out loud and then he responded to it. But it is such a great way to hear us, the laymen, the common folk, if you will, in air quotes, asking him questions that are arising as we're working through this, as we're learning more about the heart-brain coherence, we're learning more about meditation, we're learning more about healing. For Dr. Joe, heart-brain coherence is not just about relaxation. It is the biological state that allows you to rewire your brain, to recondition the body, and move into a new way of being. I believe that many of us don't understand how long that we've lived in survival mode. For those of you who have been on the healing journey, I know of a few of you on here that have sent up some claps already. You probably understand because you've done some healing work, and then through reflection and looking back and weighing that up against how you feel now, you're like, wow, I was living in survival mode for much of my life. If we understand truly at its simplest core in KB terms, that when we're afraid, when we're worrying, when we're trying to control, those are all symptoms of being in survival mode. It is through the body's relaxation, the mind's relaxation, the holding high frequency feelings in your heart. That's how we start to move out of survival mode. So I want to talk to you all about how gratitude actually rewires the brain. Like, what is actually happening here? I'm telling you, I geek out on this stuff because the number one reason why I geek out on this stuff is because 15 years or so ago, I started a healing journey and I started to apply things to my life. And it wasn't through Dr. Joe. It actually was just through, to be honest, spiritual literature, not religious, spiritual literature. All different kinds of people, from Marianne Williamson to Neil Donald Walsh to Eckhart Tolle to Don Miguel Ruiz, the list goes on. And I started to apply things that made sense to me. And I noticed that I was changing. Years went by. You know, I've got a lot of life. Okay. I've had people sick and dying and moves and betrayals and just all kinds of new relationships and buying houses and starting new businesses and everything to do with having kids and family. Okay. So I've had a lot. But during this time, without meaning to, let me back up a little bit. I have known of Dr. Joe's work so far back. I can't even tell you when I went to a conference called Celebrate Your Life here in Phoenix. It has a lot of the big speakers that come and they speak. That was the first time that I was introduced to him. I was probably in my early 30s, and I'm 58 right now. So this is many years. I didn't know anything about this work. I probably couldn't even, I couldn't even really follow. I kind of get what he was saying, but I don't know. I was a little ADD at the time. couldn't really follow what was going on, but I enjoyed him. And then there was a space and time where I didn't hear much from him. And then the internet kind of took off. And so I started to get like reintroduced to his work. And I started to realize that he was talking about my life. He was talking about what I did, but I didn't know this stuff at the time. I did not know that I was quote unquote rewiring my brain. I didn't know that I was changing my inner chemistry. I had no idea those things were happening. All I knew is I was feeling better. And I'm talking emotionally better. And I was more empowered and I was stronger and I wasn't going down the same knee-jerk responses that I used to, or functioning from the same level of low self-worth that I was. I didn't even know is what I was doing, by the way, because I thought I had worth. I didn't know these things. It was as time went on and I started to go, wait a minute, this is explaining exactly what happened to me. That's when I really started diving in because I wanted to know more. I'm a person who's a lifelong student. I'm a lifelong learner. I don't claim to know everything by any means. I probably have maybe cracked the surface, but I know enough to help other people. And I know enough to share my own experience and the wisdom that I accrued from that because it works. And now I have the scientific data, research, physiological, biological reasons why. So we're going to jump into how gratitude rewires your brain. And the first way is that it builds positive pathways. This is neuroplasticity. God, I'm sorry, guys. I cannot talk today. I'm in a great mood. I'm fine. Everything's good. But my throat's a little sore. So just bear with me. I feel like my tongue is bigger than my head right now. So it builds positive neuropathways. How does it do that? Because when we consistently focus on gratitude, on things to be thankful for, on appreciation, it strengthens neural circuits for positive emotions. When we focus on gratitude, on giving thanks, on appreciation, it strengthens neural circuits for positive emotions, making it easier to default to positivity and reducing the brain's natural focus on threats, which is the negativity bias that I talk about a lot on here. Remember how I say we're on autopilot? I say it all the time. We're just doing the same things over and over and over again. We can actually rewire our brain to do things differently, for our default mode to be different. Remember the other day I was talking about forgiveness of self. And I said the more that I forgave myself, that it just became natural. It became my default. And this is why. Because I was forgiving myself so often and it became really easy for me. And it became the natural thing when I make a mistake that I can tell you to this day, I might have a feeling of, this is the tiniest disclaimer, I'll have the feeling of shame or regret or, gosh, I wish I didn't hurt that person's feelings or whatever it might be. It's there. It's alerting me that there's something that I did that was out of alignment of my higher self. It'll alert me, but I don't go down the shame spiral. I don't start thinking I'm bad because automatically I'll go, oops, alert. I'll take responsibility, own it, make amends. But like it's almost built into that entire system. I don't judge myself for it. I don't beat myself up for it. I'll do what I need to do and then I move on. That's it. Like it's dropped. When that was happening to me, I was like, am I weird? Is something wrong? Because again, I didn't have any coaches or mentors or therapists that were guiding me through this. I was figuring so much of this out on my own that I thought, is something wrong with me? Did I do something weird? Like, what is this? And then I later learned that I rewired my brain. That my brain now, because I practiced forgiveness for self-forgiveness for so long, that my brain now forgives myself. I call it quantum forgiveness. I was watching something the other day where the guy said, it was on an interview, I might get this wrong. He said something like, forgive yourself so much, it's almost delusional. I didn't like his words. No, I don't get along with his words. But I understood what he was saying. He was saying because that's going to take over, right? Again, I don't like the delusion word. I have attachments to the words delusion because I don't think it's delusional. Forgive yourself so much. Understand that you are a fallible human being. That's how you're designed. You're not supposed to be perfect. Mistakes are part of the infrastructure. Mistakes are part of the game, if you will. Understand that so much that, oh, I just did that human thing again. It's okay. And you give yourself grace and you give yourself forgiveness. You do it so much that it is going to become your default. This doesn't mean you become selfish. This doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden a sociopath. Because like I said, in the beginning of that, I still felt when I made a mistake. I still felt the feelings, the natural feelings of, oh shoot, I hurt someone's feelings or I did something wrong or whatever. All that's natural. I just don't stay there. And I don't stay there not because I'm forcing it, not because I'm like, get out of here, don't think this. I'm not doing that. It's this gentle feeling in my heart of it's okay. It has now become my default. And this is what we're trying to say about how, because of neuroplasticity, we can actually rewire our brain to default to positivity, which is going to reduce the brain's natural focus on threats, which is our natural negativity bias. Boom, who doesn't want that? So this is what a gratitude practice can do for us. I ebb and flow with this. It's just other things take precedence. So let's say I have a gratitude practice every night. Well, the other day I had heartburn going to bed out of the blue. It was something that I haven't had in a while. Didn't eat anything that would promote the heartburn, but I could feel heartburn. I said, oh, I'm getting heartburn. So me going to bed that night was all about healing my heartburn. That's what I was doing. I was working in my mind about healing my heartburn. So I didn't have a gratitude practice. Or sometimes I'm too busy throughout the day and I'm running from one thing to the next. And because my brain is so focused on external, that I may not have had the space or the moment to even think about having a gratitude practice. So I'm not perfect at it, but I do my best to sit in it. And I'll tell you, one of the best meditations that we can ever do is just to say thank you. Have you ever, through a show of emojis or a back channel message, have you ever just sat in meditation and just said thank you repeatedly? Thank you, thank you, thank you, but from your heart. And at first it may not feel like it's from your heart. Yes, is that Amani? I think Amani's done that. I have. And I will tell you, and okay, Amani, Lisa, Karen have all done that. I think Truth too, awesome. Yeah, it's one of the most calming, I don't know, it just grounds us in the present moment. Now remember, going back up to what Dr. Joe was saying, is that when we are practicing gratitude, we are no longer living in the past, nor are we anticipating or fearing, that's my words, the future. We are in the present where we are regulated and where we feel safe. And saying thank you, just thank you, has that. It's even better to, not even better, but it depends on what can evoke the emotion or really reach your heart more deeply, to add something to that. My gratitude practice when I'm laying in bed, going to bed at night, has always started with thank you for my bed. Because guess what, you guys, we take so much for granted in this life. I've got an amazing bed. And I lay in there, even if I was laying on a blow-up mattress, thank you for the blow-up mattress. Because there's people that are sleeping outside. There's people that are unhoused, that are sleeping on sidewalks, that are cold. And sitting in that, like, thank you for my bed. And then it just goes out from there. Thank you for running water. Thank you for my hands. Thank you for that I have fingernails. Thank you that my thumb works. Have you ever injured your thumb or your pinky? It changes everything, doesn't it? It's like, wow, I didn't realize I should be so grateful for my pinky, but now I got this paper cut on here and I haven't been able to use it, right? It's getting into I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful that my brain works. I'm grateful that I can see. Really deeply consider having a gratitude practice because it will rewire your brain. I'm going to go into the second one and then I'm going to bring up my first guest. Number 2 is it triggers feel-good chemicals. A lot of us are looking for those feel-good chemicals externally. We're looking for the dopamine hits, the serotonin hits, the oxytocin. We're looking for all of those things outside of ourselves. Gratitude boosts dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, which creates feelings of pleasure, contentment, and connection. Have you ever just looked at a loved one in your life and just thought, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you. It's going to release these feel-good, amazing chemicals inside of you. So we can actually generate those dopamine hits internally. We don't need to get on the social media. We don't need to get on the attention seeking or validation seeking. We can generate that within ourselves. Have you guys ever said thank you for the traffic delay? You're headed somewhere and all of a sudden you run into a bunch of traffic. What does most of us do? Oh my God, there's traffic. We're going to be late. This is going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. We freak out. I know this sounds cheesy and sometimes I feel weird just even saying this out loud, but if the traffic stops, I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you for the traffic slowing down for whatever reason. I'm okay driving somewhere on the freeways here in Phoenix, and all of a sudden what would typically be 70 or something around there is now 30. Oh, well, I'm going 30 miles an hour on the freeway. Okay, I'm safe. It's going to come flying at me out of nowhere. I mean, the gratitude will just come. If you've had a gratitude practice for some time, you're going to understand this. The little things stop mattering. The little annoyances is a better way to say it. They just don't affect you because, again, you have rewired your brain. And not only that, we become grateful for past experiences that led us to where we are today. Dr. Joe says this all the time. There's people that have suffered through some terrible things. They go to his conferences, they start to heal. And he said, the people actually look back and are grateful for those hard experiences that they had because of where it brought them. This is a common thing for people. And this happens for me where, let's say somebody delivered a new appliance to my house and had a dent in it. Would I call? Would I freak out? Would I get mad? Or just be like, it's going to get dented eventually. I'm grateful for the new dishwasher. Now, this doesn't mean that's true for you, but this is something that I would probably do. I'd say, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I don't care that there's a little dent or a little scratch. It doesn't really matter to me because that's so minute to the abundance that we all have. And we all do have abundance, you guys. You may not be where you want to be. You may not have gotten that ideal dream job or the car or the partner or to wherever it is health-wise that you want to be. But look around your life. I'm looking at mine right now. I'm sitting at a desk with this gorgeous computer. I got my microphone. I got my light source. I have this amazing printer over here. I have these awesome decorations in here. I've got a floor heater by me. I'm just looking around my office and I'm like, this is abundance. Am I Elon Musk? No. But doggone it, I'm living in abundance. I have a lot to be grateful for. The magazine that's in this thing over here says Led Zeppelin on it. But I bought that because I'm like, I want to read about them. And I'm looking at that. I had the money to buy a magazine just because I wanted to. That's abundance. There's so much to be grateful for. Okay, let's move on to the next reason why gratitude rewires your brain, and that is because it reduces stress and anxiety. So you ready for this one? Gratitude lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and better sleep. Gratitude lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which most of us know on the weight loss journey that can contribute to actually holding on to weight. And it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and better sleep. I'm just thinking in real time now, just of some experiences that I've had recently where I had an opportunity, let's call it that, to be stressed. I had an opportunity to rush. I had an opportunity to feel like this wasn't going to work out. All of these things. And what did I do instead? I said, this is good. This is fine. This is okay. Because one of the things that I know for sure, and a lot of it's based on the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza and many others in the world, is that our inner world, our emotional world, can contribute to the health of our physical body. And reducing stress is one of the best ways to do it. So how can we do it? And I've just told you one of the ways. Gratitude lowers cortisol. It also, number 4, activates key brain regions. This is just gratitude, you guys, just gratitude. Now, when I say just gratitude, I'm not saying I'm thankful for the car, I'm thankful for the house, I'm thankful for, no, I'm talking about I'm so grateful, like feeling it in your heart. Okay. We can't have these changes biologically or neurologically without the feeling. That's the heart brain coherence. So just saying it is not enough. It's embodying it. It's feeling it. And we feel in our hearts, don't we, everyone? And you guys know this little fun fact? The heart has 40,000 neurons. Neurons are brain cells in the heart. They're connected. The heart and the brain are connected. I'm telling you, I can't make this stuff up, but it just geeks me out. So another way that it rewires the brain, gratitude, is that it activates the key brain regions such as the prefrontal cortex, which improves decision-making, empathy, and emotional regulation. It activates the amygdala and hippocampus that are involved in emotional processing, memory, and bodily functions. It activates the hypothalamus, which regulates hormones, sleep, and metabolism, and the reward system, which releases dopamine, reinforcing the grateful feeling. So it activates key brain regions such as the reward system, which is called the ventral striatum, which releases dopamine and reinforces the grateful feeling. So we can actually get a snowball effect. See what I'm saying? It feels good to feel grateful. So I want to feel grateful more. It just sort of works within each other. The next thing is that it shifts brain wave activity. It moves our brain from a high stress beta. You guys have heard me talk about the beta brainwave state. We start delta is the bottom, that's sleep. That's the lowest brainwave state. Then we have the next one up on the tier is theta, which is a highly suggestible brainwave state. That's why it's a great state to be in for rewiring of the brain. Then we have the alpha, and then we have beta. So when I'm talking about beta, that's the one where we're high beta. Dr. Joe talks about that's the high stress, running, trying to solve things. That's what high stress beta is. So when we move into gratitude, we shift into calmer alpha waves, which is relaxed alertness. And we can even produce gamma wave spikes, which is integration and clarity in profound moments. Yes. Love, love, love. Okay, we have Laura's going to be coming up to the stage. She is joining us today. Let's see what Laura has to say about this topic. Welcome, Laura.
Hi, Kristi.
Hi there.
I can vouch that gratitude had rewired my brain and it helped with self-healing. And one of the things that I've told myself for many years now, maybe I don't feel super happy today or dealing with something. However, if I think about it, if I step back more and more and gain perspective, I'm better off than 90% of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And remind myself how so many people and children in other countries don't even have cold water in the house or plumbing system or proper nutrition, proper medical care. And I have not just that, but way, way more than that. All of my needs are covered and a lot of my wants.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is the one that I shared with you first time when I ever talked to you on here. It was probably an accidental join, like most of us here, on our first time. And then you were talking about affirmations and asking us to share one affirmation that makes sense to us and it helps us. And I shared about Sia's song lyrics, whoever might have wrote them if it wasn't her. I'm unstoppable like a Porsche with no brakes.
That always reminds me of you from that point forward.
And even when I don't necessarily feel like going to the gym or Even if I'm there and I don't feel super energized, I'm telling myself I'm unstoppable, and that helps me bring about the change into a higher energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been schooled at Cecilia Grace's School of Gratitude Every Day. Celebrate your wins, big or small, celebrate them all.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was trying to say I'm tired or it's hard, say, no, don't say it's hard. Of course you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's tired. And then she would bring me back to speaking positively only. And that was a
Mm-hmm.
tough nut to swallow, but guess what? It did rewire my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling myself that I'm tired, even if I am. I'm telling myself I'll take a nap. I'll do less. I'll figure out a way, but I'll avoid those words, and that rewires my brains too, because it's the power of language that also helps with rewiring. And
100%. Yes.
yeah, I've gained so many amazing friends here on Noon Vibe. All of them are teaching me about high vibration, people who vibrate on a high frequency, and I'm learning about that. And I remember that you were talking about matching somebody else's energy, so that if I keep initiating calls, texts, signs of life, and lunch dates or whatever with my friends, and they don't necessarily respond or call me just to say how I'm doing, only call for asking for something,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm feeling free because of what you shared to match their energy. Bye.
Yeah, what she was referring to at the end there was matching efforts. And that was, I remember when she was going through that, I remember these conversations. I don't readily remember, but once people bring them up, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. But I definitely remember a portion with no breaks because I never knew those lyrics. I heard it, but I always heard that song kind of in a restaurant or something. So I never really got the lyrics until she said it. But yeah, matching people's efforts, because sometimes we're really trying to be their friend and wanting to do these things, and then they're just sort of taking us for granted and not really appreciative of us being in their life and match their efforts. And there's people that I was holding the stage for the relationship in many relationships throughout my life. And when I stopped doing that, that's when a lot of friendships fell away, but I was okay with that. I was actually grateful for that because my space opened up. And what filled that space is people who pursue me equally. So it's not just lopsided anymore. It's people who want to be in my space as much as I want to be in theirs, or, they initiate plans or like, hey, you want to do this or this? And rather than it was just me holding the whole show together. Paula asked the name of that song. I'm pretty sure it's called Unstoppable, Paula. And it's by Sia, S-I-A. It's a great song. It's actually a really great song. You've probably heard it. You don't realize you've heard it, but it's a very popular song right now. Okay, the last one, the way that gratitude rewires our brain, is it counters a negativity bias. And we touched on this briefly already, but here's what this means. It actively shifts focus away from regrets and threats toward appreciation, which improves our overall mental outlook. So that's what I was trying to explain earlier, is that even the things that, like, once I really got in this gratitude practice, I noticed myself. I really can't talk today. You guys can tell. I'm here, I'm happy, but I can't talk. I noticed myself, the little things not bothering me, like going to the store and being bummed out because they were out of something. No, I just like immediate course correction. Okay, it'll be here next time. Or I'll go to another store if it's that important. And my overall, I don't even know how to explain this, my view of life, my view of people, my view of stuff, my worldview, if you will, softened because of a gratitude practice, because of being so grateful for what I have now. And this is what I mean by this. This is why I wanted to go into this with you all today, because gratitude is not fluff. It is not woo-woo. It is not hippy-skippy-dippy. It actually has an energetic signature to it that has the ability to rewire our brain and to, number one, it can attract better experiences to us. but also it can help us heal. And this is why when any of you message me and, are going through something, I will say, I'm going to hold you in the highest vision of healing. I'm going to be grateful that your doctors and your nurses and your caregivers and anybody involved has been rested and is allowing God source universe to flow through them. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to send bad energy towards you. When I learned that little concept, that changed everything. I was like, nope, no more worrying. For some reason, we think that worry is going to change things. I don't know why. It's just a little trick the brain plays on us. I'm going to worry. I'm going to focus on worry. And we feel like we're contributing to the problem to fixing the problem somehow. It's some weird little dichotomy. It's like, it's very strange. And then I learned that worry, since it is such a low vibrational state, we're just sending that energy out. Nope, not going to do it. But I don't just do it through words. I do it through emotion. I will picture somebody in a state. But also mixed with this, just so you guys know, I'm an energy intuitive and I pick up on things for sure. Paula is showing up as Johnny K today because she forgot her phone. Oh, how do you not worry? Well, I've talked about this many, many times on here, and there's several things we can do. We can be grateful for the healing of our body. We can be like, it's really, what is the view that you want to have? And it's how much faith do you have in God's source universe? And I have been in positions in my life, and this might be a position for some of you that are going through some really scary things right now, where I handed it all over. That I knew that there was nothing I could do to control this, change this, make this better. I was going to have to go through this no matter what. And I gave it over. And in giving it over, everything worked out better than I could have ever orchestrated. And when we do that, sometimes it takes us to hit that bottom, to hit that ultimate fear space or that ultimate whatever pain space for us to actually be willing to give up and to give over. I talked yesterday about letting it be. That was the topic, but it kind of morphed into surrender as well. I give many talks on surrender. I talk about it a lot. Okay, she said, I do that. I just need to stop taking it back. Yeah. And that's okay, because here's the thing. It takes some time. Remember, the brain is wired in a certain way. So it's going to always try to default us. It's always going to try to bring us back. It's just going to keep, and then this is just every time. When I'm working through something and I'm very conscious about it, if that negative thought comes in my head, I go, nope. And I give it away and I change the topic in my brain. It comes in, nope, give it away. And I change the topic in my brain. Because otherwise, if I sit with the topic, I'm going to ruminate on the topic. And then I'm fearing the future or anticipating the future or whatever it might be. And because it could be, like I said, focusing on the past, I have done that. And then I'm all of a sudden in some spiral. I do not want to be in a spiral. All right. Michelle said, the brain is, as Run DMC says, tricky. That was cute, Michelle. Yes, definitely. Yeah, so it's really like even gratitude sometimes, you guys, I've been in some really crappy spaces and I'm like, I'm going to practice gratitude right now. And I'm like, I'm thankful for my bed. I'm thankful. No, I'm not, but I'm saying it. Okay. Because I can't feel it because I'm so in the other space. But here's what has happened 100% of the time. It starts prickly and not connecting, but it starts to morph and it starts to soften. And then eventually I'm in the gratitude. It's doable, you guys. Let me be your cheerleader. Let me be your encourager. It's 100% doable. So yes, fear. We're all afraid. The fear takes over. It just does sometimes, but we can manage it. We can turn it around. Think about waking up every day and just saying, I am so grateful that everything's working out for me. I'm so grateful that infinite intelligence has my back. I'm so grateful of abundance. I'm so grateful that my doctors, nieces, nurses, boss, whoever you want to put in there knows what they're doing. I'm glad that universe is working with them. Just say all of that all the time. Just keep going. I'm grateful that everything is working out for my kids. I'm grateful that my child is figuring this out or working through their addiction, not mine, but I'm just saying a lot of people on here have had children in that position. I'm grateful whatever it might be, they're figuring it out. Watch how things change. It's fascinating. Now, we cannot control another person. We must know that. But when we are contributing that type of energy to the universe, it doesn't just sit there. It goes somewhere and it starts to attract things back to us. So let's say the child comes to us and has an epiphany that they've never said before. Maybe they're not off the drugs yet, but they've said something they've never said. See what I'm saying? All right, we're going to bring up Truth. Very curious to see what Truth has to say about this topic as well. Welcome, Truth. Thank you for coming.
Hey, Kristen. You may catch a little bit of wind. I'm in a situation dog sitting, so I had to step outside.
No worries.
Station. Yeah, love this one as always. Like gratitude has been such a huge part of my journey. And kind of what you were talking about just before I came on, like where you're like choosing not to think about the negative thing, something that I've been doing for a while now and a lot more recently is just asking myself, is this how I want to spend my energy? Because like I've come to this realization that I only have so much capacity. I'm fully capable of anything, but I only have so much capacity. So if I'm gonna run out before the end of the day, do I want to spend part of that capacity doom and gloom and spiraling, or thinking about like my old boss or my old job or the friend that didn't call me back or whatever? And it's just not worth it, is kind of like the conclusion that I come to. And, sometimes I'm like really gentle and I'm like, hey, honey, I know you have some hurt from that. Like, I understand. It's okay to feel that way. But is this how we want to spend our energy right now? Or do we want to put it towards something more positive and something that can like make a difference in today? Maybe save that for another day when we have the space to kind of like feel into it. So that's definitely one thing for me. And then I've been keeping a gratitude, just like a little tiny little notebook right beside my bed. So it's super easy
Oh,
when I
that's
wake
great.
up, before I go to sleep, just like any time to write in it. And I think this is a practice that like I like to switch stuff up. So I never like keep it exactly the same. For a while, for like a couple of years, I used to have a gratitude jar where I would just like write down things that I was grateful for and put it in that jar. So if I was having a bad day or if I was having a hard time, I could just like reach in randomly and pull something out. And if I couldn't come up with my own gratitude, previous me already gave me some gratitude.
That's
So it was kind of
awesome.
like a hack, especially when I was like first trying to figure out how to think from that mindset instead of like always going to the negative. And it was just like a way to support myself. And I love reading back on my gratitude journals too. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
so cool to like see what I was grateful for at this point in my life or that point in my life. And yeah, and I can honestly say like because I'm such a texture person, I am so grateful for my fuzzy blankets
Oh.
and for like soft textures and things like that. It just like immediately brings me comfort. And I know that's like
Mm.
one of the silliest things in the world,
No,
but
not to
like,
me.
man, a fuzzy blanket will just like immediately calm my nervous system. And it's just
Mm.
like, it's something so simple that I can just always be grateful for. When I get really doom and gloom, I start remembering like when I had to go for weeks without power and water.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the simple fact that like I can go turn on the faucet and wash my hands and do my dishes and flush my
Mm-hmm.
toilet, and I have power and I have heat and I have clothes and I have a car to drive, and like I have financial security, even if it's
Yes.
not as good as it could be, it's still enough and I'm taken care of and I have my needs met. So just like all of these basic things are just like some of my base gratitude that I go back to. And sometimes, like, even if I'm in a store and I get overwhelmed and I get frustrated, then I start being grateful that, like, I'm able to find the brand of oat milk that I like, or
Mm.
like
Mm-hmm.
whatever it
Yes.
is,
This is what
instead
it
of
looks
being
like.
like, I'm so overwhelmed by all the people and all the things, and I couldn't find this one thing. I'm like, okay, but I did find this other thing that I really wanted, and I have all of these other things. So like this one thing I couldn't find doesn't have to send me into a spiral or whatever, which I know lots of people don't go into spirals in grocery stores, but they're really hard for me.
Hmm.
Grocery shopping is like really
Yeah,
challenging.
right?
And I'm also grateful that even though COVID sucked, like all of the things, all of the like people shopping for you and all of those things that came from COVID.
You want to come back, Truth? You timed out. If you want to come back, go ahead and pop back up again.
Yeah, it's like I can order my groceries and like not have to go put myself in that situation. And then I have choices. It's like I know if I order my groceries for the store to pick out, my produce isn't going to be as fresh. But like that's okay if it's worth it for me to like not go into that environment and step into the anxiety that comes with it. And if I'm in a good space, okay, then maybe I'll order my groceries and leave out the fruit and vegetables and then go in just for that so that like
Mhm.
limited amount of time. And I don't know, just like just being grateful for just all that basic stuff that just makes life easier and makes life.
Oh, yeah.
And like when I first really started in gratitude practices, I thought it had to be these like big things that we're so grateful for, and like it really doesn't. It
Nope.
doesn't.
It's the feeling. It's the
Yeah.
feeling that moves the needle. That's it. Michelle Wasserman said that she too struggles in grocery stores. So I don't tend to like grocery stores, and I haven't really attached to that I struggle there, but maybe I do. So can you guys tell me what you don't like about them? Are they just overwhelming?
Yeah, for me it gets overwhelming. It's interesting because
Too
like
many choices?
yeah, I think that's part of it. But like, even if I go in with a list for myself, it still gets hard because it's like I have my list of the things I'm supposed to do, but then all these other things are like distracting me. And it's almost like too many distractions, too many people's different
Mm-hmm.
energy, and just like the chaos of like other people's children like running around me like doing all the things, and it's a lot of chaos, and it just feels really challenging for me for some reason. It's interesting, I used to be really good at like hospitality rider shopping. With what I do, I have to do a lot of that, and like if I go in a store with the list for someone else for some reason, it's a lot easier than if I'm trying to do it for
Mm-hmm. That
myself.
makes sense.
And yeah, I think there's a little psychology to it. But also with myself, then it's like I have the option to buy the extra stuff. And I get decision fatigue really easily because like I'm very impulsive, and I just like I want things that maybe I shouldn't necessarily buy for myself. So then I have to like go into this evaluation of like, should I actually get this or not? Like, is this an impulse desire for a dopamine hit, or is something I actually need? And then just the whole process.
Oh, we lost your Truth for some reason.
I don't
Oh,
know. I feel bamboozled as soon as I walk into grocery stores.
yeah. So I have a question. I'm curious because you've practiced gratitude for a while. What I've noticed is when I'm in like super duper gratitude, like I'm really in there and feeling it and loving it, I find I don't really need to do much. Meaning, I don't really care if I go to the movies or if I go out to dinner or if I go to this function because it's like there is no more seeking. Have you had that experience?
Yeah, I don't know that I attributed it to gratitude practice. I think I just kind of thought
Hmm.
that it was like just the general growth and kind of like losing that fear of missing out mindset.
I think that,
Um,
yeah, I think that's part of it too. I think that'll
yeah,
kind of, I don't know, I think it's a big pot. What do you think?
I think the gratitude, like now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, gratitude probably really has contributed to that, especially with all the things that you talked about, just like the way that it regulates your nervous system. I think for me, the fear of missing out, like I
Hmm.
noticed the difference of like kind of this like ball of anxiety of like, oh no, they're going to do that thing. And like, I need to go for whatever reason. And then like when I
Hmm.
feel regulated, I don't have, it's not that like ball of anxiety. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
well, okay, they're going to do that thing. And I don't really feel like it. And if I go, I'm just doing it because I feel like I should, not because I
right.
want to. So I don't really need to.
Yeah, feel like things got simpler for me. I'm cutting you off because you're about to leave and I
Yeah,
wanted to hear what you have
absolutely.
to say. I feel like things got more simple. Like it was just like, yeah, I just don't need as much as I thought I used to.
Yeah, well, and I think with the gratitude, maybe like we don't seek as approval as much because we're like getting all of the positive reinforcement through ourselves as we become grateful for the things that we already have.
I think that's true too. Thank you,
Thank
Truth.
you.
Thank you. Such great shares. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was just a real time thing because it's funny because my husband and I can kick rocks and we have a great day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't require, and I've told him that before. Now, I will tell you, I love to travel and I love adventure and I love looking at new things. But that's like more of like heart fulfilling passion type things. It's just like, I like that. It's not like I have to go do stuff to get a dopamine hit or to feel like I'm living my life type feelings. I don't feel like that. So I hope that makes sense. It's very different and interesting. Okay, so I had messaged Michelle. I was curious about what she found disturbing about the grocery store. And she said, too many choices, people distracting me, the noise, other people in a hurry, the store, people stalking. Yep. A lot going on in the grocery store, sensory overload. Yes, for sure. Have you guys ever gone to the grocery store first thing in the morning when it opens? It's interesting that you guys are saying it because there is a lot going on in the grocery store and there's a lot of carts and there's a lot of like people and you're trying to get past somebody and their cart is right on where you have to grab that can of beets, right? There's all these things. When I have gone first thing in the morning with my husband, sometimes we'll even ride our bikes if the weather's nice, no one's in there. And there's people stalking, but it's not a big deal. It's so nice. So just consider that. Just consider that. All right, we have Deb and then we have Kristi. A lot of people have a lot to say about this today, so we're going to go a little longer today so I can get my guests up. Hey, Deb.
Happy Friday.
Happy.
Yes, happy, joy. Gratitude has exploded for me. For obvious reasons, of course, but I have found that just before my little tsunami this week, I was finding little bits of gratitude, trying to calm myself, like, it's really good I didn't get any bills in the mail today. It's really good that the cats didn't make a mess in the back of the house that I have to clean up. And then Wednesday.
It's amazing though, Deb. I'm glad you're doing that.
But then Wednesday and all that trepidation, plus also having to drive to the courthouse in 70-mile-an-hour winds was no fun. And, clutching the steering wheel and, having to borrow Carol Sue's car. I didn't want to crash it.
Yeah.
But, and then all that happened. I had a tearful drive home.
I bet.
But it was tears of gratitude. And I'm sure I was releasing all kinds of chemicals in those tears because I was smiling while I was crying and proclaiming, all kinds of thank yous to the heavens and gratitude at its rawest, purest form for me. I think about it a lot, but, until I started listening to you, I never really said it out loud much. But I'll tell you, since I got home on Wednesday, it's been coming out of my mouth like water over a dam.
Oh, good.
I mean, just the littlest things. And it's weird because all of a sudden I find all these other things that haven't even given thought to. And it's like, I'm really glad for that. Or I'm really glad to see that, half of my flower garden did not get annihilated in the windstorm. Just everything's coming up roses this week.
I love it.
I'm giddy.
You were practicing that even before. So, because this has been going on for quite some time. There's been this threat looming over you for a year now. Yeah, 2 years. Okay. So, but even within that, Deb, I heard you say, I was practicing it anyway. So you were already kind of positioning yourself.
Yeah, but I only just realized that this week. So it's kind of like an extra bonus,
Yeah.
And even though my 15-pound Siamese is sitting here loving on me and digging his claws in ecstasy into my leg, I love you, Simon. Yes.
15 pounds? I got a big boy. He's like 12 or something. I can imagine 15.
He's a Siamese cross. He's half Siamese and half Himalayan, the Himalayan one.
Yeah.
So he's a big boy. He's all muscle. And he's a complete dork, but I love him to pieces.
Yeah, I got a dorky one too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny. So I don't know if this is rewiring me quick, but it's like everywhere I look, there's something now. And I talk to
Yeah.
myself all day while I'm doing chores and stuff because, it gets quiet around here and the cats are all asleep. But I think I do my best thinking out loud too. So if people think
Hmm.
I'm crazy because I talk to myself, so be it.
That's right.
But it really does, I guess, kick in because I haven't, if not before this week, I haven't noticed it. Maybe it was and I just didn't notice, but now I'm noticing.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. It's
Hmm.
really wonderful. I'm happy.
A great experience for you to have, Deb. And so if something else creeps in, right, if that's a possibility that something comes up and you feel yourself going that way, now you've had the experience, like the true experience of like deep, deep, deep gratitude. You can
Yes.
remind yourself and say, you know what, I've got a choice here.
Hmm. And even in failing that, there's always gratitude for the other thing, like what I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
That makes me
Hmm.
feel amazing.
Hmm. But there's
Yes, folks.
gratitude for
Yes,
living and
folks. The old
breathing.
woman's in love.
Yes.
But and that's a whole different kind of gratitude. It's been a long time.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been a good week. And I
I'm
love
glad,
all my
Deb. You
friends. I
deserve it.
love you.
I love you too, Deb. And you have just been, oh, Deb has been tuned in from the beginning of her entry into Noom Vibe. I don't even know, she's barely missed a day. I mean, doesn't always come up to the stage, but she is here or listens to replays or what have you. We've seen some incredible progress because she's intaking this information and she's applying it to her life. And I couldn't be more happy for you, Deb, and just proud of you for literally changing your inner world. Really, essentially, that's what's happening, and I'm loving to see that things are starting to really shape up for you because it's been a rough couple of years, hasn't it? Okay, we're bringing up Kristi. Kristi is going to be our closer today. Welcome, Kristi. Thanks for joining.
Hello, how are
Hey there.
you? You're okay?
I'm great, thank you. Yeah.
Great.
I have a slight something, I don't know, a slight sore
Yes.
throat, it's very slight. It's messing up the way I'm talking, but I feel fine. I'm
You
mentally
sound
fine.
you sound great, and I think you said you were saying to universe, take care of this for me. So I'm sure you're on the heel. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that next time. I was having a little bit of a tummy ache the other day, and I was like, okay, this is. I'm going to send this out to universe and say, I don't necessarily need to be sick. You help me with this. So I learned that from you. So, but I actually want to touch on. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I was doing that the other day when I got heartburn out of the blue, right when I laid down to go to bed. And I was like, nope, nope, nope. And that's what I did. I just kept saying, take this. Thank you. Take this. Take this. I don't need this. Take you. So yeah, try it, you guys. It's amazing, but stick with it. Stick with it. Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
actually,
Kristi.
that is one thing and one habit I've been really sticking with is not eating anything or drinking anything after 9 p.m. And that's helped my heartworm a lot and waking up. So yeah, those little changes really do help. And I guess that's kind of what I wanted to address. I'm going to keep the theme of being grateful, but I also feel like I need to address kind of like, I don't know if everyone understands what like Maslow's hierarchy of needs is, but I know there's
We've talked about it on here.
Yes. Okay. So psychological needs. And it kind of, I always thought that I had to really study each one and understand them in order to understand the whole picture. And I've always been kind of micromanaging on things. And I've been looking at this healing kind of in the same way when I really shouldn't have been. Instead, I should be looking at it as kind of an overarching thing that kind of like the self-healing is at the top, and then all these other things have to happen in order for that self-healing to happen. So I was really making that connection with your talk yesterday on let it be, and then today with being grateful. And I was like, man, I'm doing both of these for some things I came up with on, I had to text somebody and I had to set some pretty strong boundaries, but I did it in a loving way, knowing that I sent it with love and it was not received as love. I received a lot of chatter and negativity. And I realized that is not going to change no matter how I do it. That's just going to be something that I can't take responsibility if I knew that I sent it within love and what I knew had to happen. So I'm so proud of that. So that is definitely, because that's what I did this morning. I was like, okay, what can I let it be? What can I let be today? And I'm really grateful for the fact that I can even address those boundaries because, Kristen, you know, I have been boundaryless for many, 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 many times of my situation. So that's something that really is a major win for me.
Yes, I'm so proud of you. That is excellent news.
Thank you.
And you're getting a lot of claps coming up on the stage too.
Thank you. And I wanted to address the grocery store. One of the reasons, because I do deliveries too, and they're so handy because my schedule's kind of changed. So it's really lovely to have, I'd have Kroger delivery. However, some people don't want that because they like to be able to pick out their things, like for instance, their vegetables and stuff like that. But I have found that if it's not fresh, they are quick to give you a refund. But I think for me personally, with always for the last 30 years struggling with weight, I would go to the unhealthy section of the grocery store rather than staying, I think, is it the perimeter where it's the healthiest or
they
the
do
opposite?
say that.
Yeah, so that is something that kind of, and also you're never supposed to go grocery shopping when you're hungry because that's when you start salivating and there's just so much marketing. It's just really difficult to stay focused when there's all this stuff being thrown at you and it's good, it's sugar and everything. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I benefit from having things delivered.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I also wanted to address Truth with her fuzzy blankets. Oh my God, I live in fleece blankets. I was a thumbsucker until I was 5 years old, and I remember we had a dachshund, so it was a hot dog doggy. Her name was Heidi, and she had these big, long, floppy ears, and when I sucked my thumb, I would get her ear in between my finger and my lip and would rub it there. And so that's where I it's weird, but even as an adult, I need to find like a fleece blanket and kind of pull it up under my nose so I get that feeling of that feeling of that just cozy and like comfy, safe, loving kind of thing. So
self-soothing.
Exactly. And I am also being more aware of healing with my.
Oh, Kristi, you timed out. Come back up again so you can finish. It's so funny that we're talking about, before I bring her up and cut into her time, that we're talking about blankies, because we were talking about that in my family the other day, what we do still to comfort ourselves, what we did as kids and what we do, because my kids had blankies. My son sucked his thumb, and I haven't said this yet, but I have a couch throw that is a heater blanket on both couches because we have two different couch areas. But the second one I just bought, you guys, is like, it's so soft. It's like my cat's fur. It's so good.
The best. I know. I wear fleece as much as I can because like my fleece hoodies, I can rub my face there and just instantly feel better. So that must have been some kind of, like you said, soothing when I was a kid. But also, as long as I can remember, I am a habitual nail biter, just terrible to the quick and chewing on my cuticles. And I was a teacher and I got sick a lot, and everyone kept attributing, you got to keep your fingers out of your mouth. I'm like, I know, but I did it unconsciously and didn't even realize. And people are like, Kristi, you're just chewing your nails off. And I didn't have any awareness. And the last probably 3 or 4 months, I have been really focusing on that, and I actually have my own nails. My left one, except my thumb, is shorter, so that probably was attributed to that. But I am so proud of it, and they look really good, and I'm getting pedicures and manicures regularly, even at the farm. I don't care. I will do the gel. But just that celebration and that acknowledgement of, you don't need to be so stressed. That was probably me, instead of taking that stress out, I was biting my nails and getting it all into my body and gaining the weight and having that big coat to keep me safe. So all that stuff is shedding off. My pounds are starting to shed, and it's all that awareness.
Kristi.
I know. It's so cool.
I'll send up some love for this girl. She is hitting it out of the park.
Thank you.
And just so you know, you guys, this is like, she's been aiming at this. She's been slowly unraveling things and peeling away the layers of the onion. And is that Kiko?
It is. He's saying hi to everybody.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, great job, Kristi. And I hope you see all the emojis coming up. There's just piles and piles of it coming up for you.
Well, all I can say is everybody keep sticking with it. It's putting yourself first, and it feels so good to finally put myself first. Yeah. I remember doing that as a little kid, and I got to do that again now as an adult because it feels so good. Mm-hmm.
And I'm so incredibly proud of you. Great job, and keep up the good work.
I surely will. Sending love to everybody.
Thanks, Kristi.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, you guys, I love you guys. If I haven't told you before, I know I have, and I mean it. I think you guys are absolutely amazing. When you come up here and the things that you share with us and your open hearts and open minds, I learned from you as equally as I hope that you learn from me. And I'm always a student as well as the teacher. You know, this is a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Researched, clinical type topic, because I wanted to really give you guys I don't even have words today, you guys, the research, the facts, the truth behind this topic, so that you could really understand that it's not just fluffy. It's not airy fairy. Like, oh, go practice gratitude. No, go practice gratitude. Like, go practice gratitude like it's your job. I do want to circle back to something that Truth said, though. She was talking about that we only have so much energy in every single day, and asking herself questions like, is this really how I want to spend my day, focusing on this? You know, awareness is key. I'll say it ad nauseum, awareness is key. And drawing that awareness to ourselves and saying, what am I doing here? Is this what I want to be doing here? Has this helped me in the past? Is this going to further my future? Is this contributing positively? You know, what's happening here? And then having the choice, you guys. This is all about reclaiming our personal power. This is all about becoming sovereign. We become sovereign. What does sovereign mean? It means basically you're the king or the queen of your life, that you get to decide and you get to make all the choices. It's about agency, that you are in charge. So, you know, this is not just in charge of who I hang around with, is what am I going to think? What am I thinking about? Where am I focusing my attention? Because where attention goes, or where focus goes, attention. Oh God, I got to hang up. You guys, I cannot talk today. Where attention goes, energy flows. There, maybe I should just talk slower. Where attention goes, energy flows. So thanks, you guys, for setting up the love. This is so funny. I'll see you guys on Monday. Much love. Have an amazing weekend.